How's it going, guys? Welcome back to FNN Sports Take with me, Kasey Hudson. I hope everyone had an amazing Monday, especially because we're starting to get back to some sense of normality. We know that most states have hit a phase one in this whole COVID-19 situation. So maybe you got a chance to hit up your favorite restaurant. Maybe you got a chance to be in a group larger than 2-3 people and not feel too weird about it. Either way, I hope everybody has enjoyed their Monday. Now, as for sports news, not too much going on, but we can count on some things really progressing here, seeing as how we are now starting to open up in certain states. We're going to get more sports news as the week progresses, and I'm sure we're going to hear more information come Wednesday. For the big news that has come out, especially beginning today, is the fact that the NFL actually made a decision to cancel all international games. They said the decision came down to the fact that they spoke to medical authorities. They had a sit down with the NFLPA. They talked to international, local, and national governments and made a decision that it's probably in the best bet and the safest decision to not travel international, which means the 4 London games and the 1 Mexico City game will not be taking place in this year's 2020 schedule. The good news, though, is that even if these international games are getting canceled, and we've talked a lot about the fact that in order for teams to resume their normalities, there probably will not be any fans involved. Well, it looks like one team is deciding that they want their fans involved, and they're going to make it happen. The Miami Dolphins think that they can actually have fans in the stadium and attain social distancing situations and, have everybody there to enjoy the atmosphere as well as the game. Their stadium particularly holds 65,000 people. So realistically, yeah, you can create social distancing guidelines if you only sell a certain amount of tickets and make sure that everybody's sitting here and there and not on top of one another. So if one team does it, we can maybe hope that another team may be encouraged and motivated to do the same thing. So fans may be able to partake in game days and the game day atmosphere come this fall. If you think about it, fall is, a couple months away. Football, we have more time to kind of make some decisions. It's really the hockey and the baseball and the MLS that are really just trying to finish out their 2020 seasons before heading into that 2020-2021. So when it comes to fall season, luckily it looks like we might be able to partake in all of the action. We will see what happens. More information keeps coming out as things lessen up when it comes to COVID-19. Now, when it gets to quarterback information, as we get further into NFL conversation, we talked on Friday before we had our guest on in regards to the whole QB shuffle taking place since the draft. Well, the big news here was Andy Dalton got released by the Bengals, and we were trying to figure out, is he still QB1 material or is he QB2 material? It looks like he decided he's QB2 material, which in my personal opinion means that he does not have much time left. He's not going to give much more to the NFL. I think he's looking to really do about 1 or 2 seasons and be out, because no guy of his stature, his skill set, and his ability opts out to be a QB2 just for any given reason. He did have offers to be a QB1 with a few other teams, and then he chose to go to the Cowboys, of all things. Now, we have known that there's been conversation, conflict, and negotiations taking place when it comes to QB1 Dak Prescott. We know that Prescott still has not been comfortable with the negotiations and the contract that they have been trying to delegate with him. They are nearly at over $30 million within their negotiation in terms for his contract, and he's still not happy with it. So the big question here is, did they bring in Andy Dalton to light a fire underneath Dak Prescott and his team in terms of either rushing him out of the Cowboys system or making him decide, okay, this is worthwhile, I'm going to stay with the Cowboys? We know that they want to continue building the franchise around Dak. We know that they respect his ability, but he had a teammate or a former teammate kind of speak out on his behalf in terms of the fact that he did not deserve to have a guy like Andy Dalton come in and play QB2. Des Bryant believes that the Cowboys kind of overstepped their boundaries in terms of bringing in an Andy Dalton to play QB2. Andy Dalton's not a QB2 in my opinion, so this definitely speaks on the fact that there's a lot more going on here. And if you are in the staff position, if you are in the financial position of the Cowboys with everything you guys have had taking place financially and all the moves that you guys are making, I'm sure they're over the whole contract negotiations at this point. It has been going on for so long. The last thing that we discussed also is the fact that Prescott's not even participating in virtual OTAs. So there's a lot of controversy taking place and surrounding this. And obviously a guy like Andy Dalton could light the right fire under him and just get things moving along. But do you guys think that he has 1 or 2 years left in him? Do you see him playing with the Cowboys for a season and then going elsewhere? Or do we think that Dalton's at the end of his career, this is going to be the final hurrah, and then he moves on? Other opinions that I really want to get some information on and hear you guys' feedback is, is it time for Prescott to just lay this to rest, move on with the season, and start getting in the headspace of the 2020 season? Like, you guys have been negotiating contracts for over 120 days now. It's time to make something happen. So who needs to budge? Is it the Cowboys or is it Dak Prescott and his whole team? Let us know in the comments as well as messaging us. We would love to hear your feedback. We also talked about other QBs that are going to start getting some fires underneath them. It was a big move for the Packers to pick up Jordan Love, but Love can learn a lot from Rodgers. I personally think Rodgers has 2-3 seasons in him, and we know Aaron Rodgers' character, he's going to fight for another Super Bowl appearance before he throws his helmet in the ring and calls it a career. So realistically, is Jordan Love a good backup to learn from him and to particularly take over that franchise coming up here shortly? Or do you guys think that he's just going to have 2-3 years and end up at another team? We've seen that happen with a lot of quarterbacks. So realistically, when you start looking at these draft picks, who are guys that you truly need to build the proper franchise around, or who are guys that are just going to come in and go out? I still have personal feelings about Jalen Hurts and where he ended up. I think that was just like a rough way to project him into the start of his career. Somebody else who's still potentially on the hunt for a quarterback, which is interesting, is Jacksonville. Again, at this point, you just need to focus on Gardner, build the team around him and his strong suits, and move on. If I hear them having any more quarterback conversation, they're going to start becoming the new Browns team to me. And as we all know, the Browns is the one team who all of us were like, enough with the quarterback conversation, enough with drafting a quarterback, stop wasting people's time. Jacksonville, don't become those people. A really cool poll came out today that I was fascinated about was the top quarterbacks in the league. Mahomes took number 1, but it's very well deserved. If you look at his age, his skill set, what he put on the field these last 2 seasons, he definitely deserves that number 1 spot. But particularly when you talk number 1, you think Tom Brady. And no, that's not biased because I'm a Tampa Bay girl. It's the fact that he is one of the best of the best. He didn't even come in at number 2. Lamar Jackson came in at number 2. And remember, this was the guy who, when he enters the league, he's going to be nothing better than a wide receiver trying to play quarterback. And he proved everybody wrong in the 2019 season. And Baltimore had a fantastic run. So it is going to be an amazing season in the 2020 year to see what Mahomes and Jackson does, especially because they're such young guys. And yes, Tom Brady's going to enter the season hitting 43 years old. So you can't really put him in that top 1 or 2 category any longer. But fingers crossed, as a Tampa Bay girl, I hope that he does come out of the 2020-2021 season top of the charts because, hello, I want my team going to a Super Bowl, and I want them to be the first team not only hosting but participating in the Super Bowl. Guys, we are going to cut to a quick commercial, and then we have some unfortunate news and somebody that we need to take a minute to take some memorabilia, honor, and respect when we get back from this quick commercial break.
We wanted to move.
One of the things I love about Bass Pro is they have 3 great ways to shop.
You can head into one of their awesome stores, visit BassPro.com, or get great gear from that catalog Johnny Morris sends out. Hi, here's your package. Bass Pro Shops, where commitment, passion, and the great outdoors all come together.
Why would you shop anywhere else?
All right, guys, welcome back. As for the person that we wanted to take a minute to just honor and respect, earlier today it was announced that the winningest coach in the league, Don Shula, has passed away at age 90, but the respectful news is that he passed away peacefully. His family already released a statement earlier today saying that he went away peacefully. We know that he has had major accomplishments with his coaching career. He is more predominantly known for his time with the Miami Dolphins, 6 Super Bowl appearances, which is major. We know that we're talking, our current day New England Patriots stature, 2 Super Bowl wins, and roughly 328 wins within a regular season. Don Shula, you were not only an amazing coach, but you inspired so many people, whether they played the game of football or whether they just lived to watch and spectate. You had much for people to know, that to live up to, much for people to be excited about when it came to game days. So we honor, we respect you, and we send you away with the best wishes possible. As we move on to NBA, we have discussed a little bit the Last Dance. It's funny because JJ Watt mentioned earlier on Twitter, 10 episodes.
We wanted to move back home to be closer to his family. We decided to go with pods because things were stressful enough.
We weren't sure how long we were going to need storage for, so we needed something that was flexible, and then they can deliver the container to wherever we move to.
We haven't found the perfect house yet, but we're still looking.
All right, guys. Another quick commercial break. But yes, JJ Watt took to Twitter to say that there's not enough time. 10 episodes is not enough for The Last Dance. A lot of people are really enjoying getting this insight on Michael Jordan, his thoughts, and everything he's been feeling during his very, very, very fascinating career. Now, here's the thing. Magic Johnson took to ESPN today to say that Michael Jordan is actually a very private guy. They didn't feel like he ever had a space or a platform where he could just be himself, unwind, and let loose. He always felt like he had to be on. He always felt like there were eyes on him. There was nowhere he could go and just be Michael Jordan. There was a lot that people still never got to know about him, according to Magic Johnson. Because he was a very private person, though, he minimized the group in which he let get close to him. But one person who he let break down those boundaries was Kobe Bryant. And Johnson said today, you know what? I feel like they had that relationship because they had a lot of similarities on and off the court. They had the same views on life. They had the same idyllic, bigger picture of life. And so that was the one person who Jordan had no issue of letting get closer to him, regardless of everything taking place in his world. But there's still so much to get to know about Michael Jordan. And we will get a little bit more insight on The Last Dance as the season begins to wrap up. As we said, there's only 10 episodes, and we are getting to the final 2 come this Sunday. So let us know you guys' thoughts. Do you feel like you're starting to know more about Michael Jordan that you never knew before, or is this still kind of the information in a broad spectrum that you've already heard, but you respect the fact that it's the GOAT of basketball and you just enjoy the documentary? A quick brush up on soccer. We discussed the fact that over in Europe that they're starting to let up and make some rules established so that they can start playing a few more games and try to close out what would have been the remainder of the 2020 season. Spain, Italy, and Germany begin to start moving towards a restart date in time, but there's still no solid plan because we all have players that are still too scared to return. They want to get more information on terms of testing. The hard part here is that people that are carrying no symptoms can be in the facilities passing it along to everybody else, and they just don't trust it. But it's not up to them any longer. If they want to get that money on their contract, they're going to have to play when that restart date is completely set in stone. So as for now, Spain, Italy, and Germany will be the 3 countries that have their teams coming back to finish out the season before transitioning over to the 2021 season. That was a little bit of much more information than I thought I had tonight, but that's it for us, guys. Don't forget to check out the Doc Talk t-shirts because it all goes to a good cause, the Hillsborough County education system for those students who no longer get to be in school, who no longer get those 1 meals that they were counting on per day. The one guest that we were happened to have on Friday, Justin Watson, he mentioned cerebral palsy was close to his heart, and he mentioned a website that you can go to, get involved, so you can check back to that interview on Friday. As for now, guys, I am excited to catch up with you on Wednesday with hopefully more information and more updates as to us getting back to normality. Stay safe, and we will see you Wednesday at 8 p.m.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin
The
clean.
kid does have a
That's
point.
My hand is clean. Yeah.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish,